Hey mama, welcome to the podcast. I am Jocelyn, the maker, creator, recorder, whatever you want to call it, of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I am a fellow mom of 5. I have had 5 babies and 1 miscarriage, and I am all about finding positivity during pregnancy, a season that turned out to be way harder for me than I thought it was going to be. If you find that pregnancy is a hard season, you are in the right spot. Right now, we are going through a pregnancy week by week, and I'm sharing with you tips and kind of what's happening in your body, but also tips for your mental mindset to help you through these tough times. This season can be difficult, so prepare your mind for that, but also let's jump into this episode to try to find more positivity during your week 7 of probably feeling extremely nauseated. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life, and I can help you. Thanks for joining. Week 7. Congratulations on making it to week 7. By now, your nausea is probably ramping up. It is getting worse and worse, and it's probably starting to feel a little bleak. You are wondering maybe why you wanted to do this and why you did it and why does it have to be so miserable? And a lot of questions like that are probably coursing through your mind. This first trimester is so hard. I think I've mentioned this before, but I always wanted to keep it a secret longer that I was pregnant and surprise people when I was farther along, but with how sick I got, I just couldn't do it. And you might be in the same boat where you are just so sick and you just feel you need to tell those around you, and that is fine. Tell who you need to and ask for help in the places that you need to. I think sometimes we get in this independent, feminine, I need to do it all by myself and be a strong woman. Or that's what we have in our mind of being a strong woman, is doing it all by herself and not asking for help. But in these first weeks or first trimester of pregnancy, sometimes it can be very helpful to have a little bit of help. Maybe it's even just asking your husband to make some dinner or to do the dishes for you, or any type of simple communication that can help you during this trimester. Smells are probably very abhorrent to you, or certain smells can be very, way too much. I could not do any type of leftover food. I just couldn't smell it. So if someone was able to warm it up for me, I could do the leftover food after it was warmed up and smell better. But just out of the fridge, those yucky smelling leftovers was way too much. And you may be experiencing that. Your nausea has probably increased. You may have even started throwing up considerably. And your mental state is probably faltering a little bit. You are really excited to see that positive pregnancy test, and now the excitement is kind of wore off, and you are just feeling very sick. It can be very hard. I like to give the mental mindset tips at the end of the episode. So before we get to those mindset tips, I'm going to talk about a few other things that are going on in your body with your baby. The more I learn about pregnancy, the more I learn about what an amazing miracle it is, what our womanly bodies can do to form these little humans. It is powerful and it is incredible. By now, your baby is about the size of a small raspberry. Their head is about a third of their body size, so a lot of changes are going on inside of their head. By this stage in your pregnancy, the umbilical cord is about fully developed, and a lot of those vital organs inside this little raspberry are developing. It's amazing how much can happen in such a small little space. Another interesting fact that I found or heard during this 7th week is the baby is 1,000 times its original size since fertilization, and it's only the size of a raspberry. Isn't that amazing? I remember I always had good intentions for my pregnancies. In fact, this last pregnancy, I focused on 4 areas in my pregnancy. I really wanted to have good mental mindset. I wanted to work out. I wanted to eat healthy, and I wanted to support my marriage better than I had in other pregnancies. And given the spot I was in the pregnancy, some of these things were easier. One of the ones that was impossible to get to in my first trimester was any type of exercise. I was basically just flat in bed or by the toilet or on the couch. I did not feel up to exercising. If you do feel up to exercising, it is good for you. And at this point in your pregnancy, most types of exercise are still safe to do. So if you're able to, it is good for you and baby to do some type of exercise. Even though I didn't feel up to exercising, getting fresh air did help. I tried to go outside every afternoon to get some fresh air. And if you're able to get fresh air, that can help, even with the nausea a little bit. And if you're able to add some walking, it also can be refreshing. So if you're able to get in some exercise, that's great. Another thing that was a little difficult during the first trimester, but I tried a lot harder with my 5th baby, was eating healthy. Now, with my first pregnancy, I was like, hey, heck, I'm going to gain weight anyway. I'm going to eat whatever I want. And I did. I ate whatever I want. And that did not end good. I actually ended up in an emergency C-section 9 weeks early. And the more I also learn about pregnancy, the more I realize that nutrition plays a big part. And so even though you feel like you're just going to gain the weight anyways, the food and types of foods you put in your body are going to either help or hinder your pregnancy, or they can help or can hinder your pregnancy a little bit. And eating higher protein and better foods actually does help with the nausea. It took me a couple weeks to figure that out into my 5th pregnancy, but eating more protein did help me to be less nauseous. So there's a couple tips on the eating healthy. The other area, the mindset, we'll get to in a minute. And then the 4th area was my marriage. And specifically, I wanted to get better at intimacy, because that in my past pregnancies had been very difficult. I almost just felt a revulsion for any touching and didn't love it, but wanted to get better at it because it felt like the marriage would suffer a little bit while I was pregnant, and I didn't want that. I wanted to try harder. So in that aspect, you probably, or you could be feeling a little bit like, I don't want to be touched. I don't want to try and do this. But my first tip for the marriage is to have conversations. Have conversations with your husband. Like, it's not that you don't love him or you don't want to. It's just you do not feel good. You don't feel up to it. And just having some communication and understanding there is better than just ignoring him and his needs. And you can always find other alternative ways to fill his needs together with you and him. But my other tip was to find windows, and this was so helpful during my first trimester, my 5th pregnancy. In fact, I think I did a whole podcast on this. I will link it in the show notes, but find windows of time where God grants you to feel good. I feel like every few days there was a window of time that I felt like it was manageable enough to have it, to be intimate. And I just looked at that as a gift from God. Maybe you even need to get to a point where you just take some over-the-counter medicines that are safe for you and baby during pregnancy to help you to have some of those moments for your husband. Do what is best or what you feel is best. Some people are okay with taking medicines and some are not. I've gone through both phases. I've taken prescription medicines for my pregnancies. I have taken over-the-counter medications for my pregnancies, and I have done pregnancies with no medications. So it just depends on what you feel is right, is best for you in this season for your baby. Pray about it. There is mother's intuition. your gut and your mind, your brain, whatever one you want to call it, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, can help prompt you and give you thoughts to which direction you need for your marriage, for your pregnancy in this time with your baby. So don't put that off. Don't put that intuition off. Lean into it and trust it. God can help you, even though it will still be hard. He is there. And that is one of the things I learned to help me get better at things in my marriage. I will also link that episode that I did about how it was my 5th pregnancy and what I did to find those windows. And yeah, so let's get on to the mindset stuff. I think this is the part of pregnancy that is often neglected. If you look on the internet, there's a lot of information about exercise during pregnancy, about eating healthy. There's books about supporting your marriage during pregnancy. But there's not a lot that talks about your mindset during pregnancy. It is very neglected. And if you feel it's been neglected, I encourage you to share this with your friends who are pregnant, because I don't do any paid advertising. I need your help to spread this news, to spread the encouragement for finding positive thoughts during pregnancy so that you can do this pregnancy better, so you can do it with God, and so it can bring more joy and happiness, but also so maybe in the future you might have more kids. Now, that's another thing I encourage is don't think about having more kids during this pregnancy. That's like not allowed. But I have felt and have come to the conclusion and awareness that as I strengthened my thoughts during pregnancy, it made it easier to have more kids. I was very scared during my 2nd pregnancy. I thought that we were only going to have 2 kids. I hated all the symptoms of pregnancies that pregnancy brought. But because I shifted my thoughts, I have been able to have 5 kids. And I'm not saying the symptoms went away, but my thoughts helped me to deal with them better. And your thoughts can help you deal with the pregnancy symptoms better too. So it's a lot how you look at it. I know you've heard of the phrase, do you look at the glass half empty or half full? And that's kind of what we're going to do in pregnancy. One of the areas of my morning sickness mini course for mental health is changing the negative to the positive. So kind of choosing to look at the glass half full instead of half empty. During my 5th pregnancy, one of the things that I tried to do is to realize, yes, I am sick and I feel like I am getting sicker, but also sickness is a good sign that your pregnancy is viable, that you are going to retain and keep this baby. When I had the miscarriage, I started feeling a lot less nauseated faster, and I was grateful for it. I was like, wow, this is cool. I've never had this happen before. But then I ended up miscarrying, and I didn't want to miscarry again. I wanted to keep the baby, so my mind was able to change the negative of I'm sick into I'm sick, but that also means my pregnancy is viable. It's good. Like things are going in the right direction in order for this to hopefully not miscarriage. And my 5th pregnancy did not miscarriage. So that's one of the tips of changing your mindset is looking at what you're dealing with negatively and trying to find a positive aspect of it. Maybe you are feeling that this is really hard and you are not quite sure how you're going to do it. Instead of dwelling on all the hardness, I want you to find gratitude, which is another area of my morning sickness mini course for mental health. Find gratitude that your body is able to get pregnant. There are women out there whose bodies are not able to have a baby, which is so sad and so heartbreaking. And my heart goes out to all those women because I can't imagine how difficult that must be. But your body is able to have a baby within, and it is an amazing miracle. So find gratitude that you are able to grow a baby within. The next area of my pregnancy course is pregnancy-specific affirmations. Sometimes it is hard to change the negative to the positive. Sometimes you just don't want to feel gratitude because you feel like you are alone, you are stuck, you are sick, you can't do anything you once did, and it is hard. When it gets to that point, I encourage you to do pregnancy or listen to pregnancy specific affirmations. I have videos that I have, or not videos, sorry. I have audios that I have done some pregnancy specific affirmations right on this podcast, and I will try and link them, a couple of them in the show notes as well. But if you want more of those, there are a lot in my mini course. And this mini course will give you all the thoughts to think, all the areas to go to find more positive mental health during this pregnancy, through the gratitude, through the changing the negative to the positive, and many of the pregnancy-specific affirmations. Now, there are a lot of affirmations that are about childbirth and going through childbirth, but a lot of mine are focused during pregnancy to help you through these rough times when you have a lot of negative thoughts flooding your mind, when you feel doubtful, when you feel worried and concerned. There are a lot of these audios and videos through that course that can help get you through. And if I could talk, the audios that I have with the course are downloadable. You can download them and use them whenever you need. And it is powerful. I know it's powerful because I used my own course for my 5th pregnancy. So if you are struggling in this 7th week of your pregnancy with that morning sickness and want help, I encourage you to check it out. The direct link is also in the show notes. It says direct link. It is found on my website, which is also linked in the show notes. And there is more information about it on my website. And always feel free to email me with questions. I would love to answer your questions and help you out and support you. It fills me up with joy to help encourage women in pregnancy. So email me. My email is also in the show notes, or just listen to, not just listen, but implement to find more positivity in this pregnancy. You are amazing. This week 7 is probably hard, and you've got a few more hard weeks ahead of you. But I'm here for you. I want to help you out, and you can do it. You need you. God needs you, and your family, your posterity, your unborn baby needs you in these endeavors to find more positive, happy thoughts in this pregnancy, and you can do it. Keep up the good work. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.